Superannuation is one of the most powerful wealth building tools available to Australians, but it's also heavily regulated. You can't just dip into your super whenever you feel like it, as tempting as that might be. There are conditions of release that you need to meet before accessing your superannuation. So, when can you legally and safely access your super? Let's break it down. For most people, the magic word is retirement, but it's not as simple as just quitting your job. There are two key concepts you need to understand, and that is your preservation age and the condition of release. Your preservation age is the age at which you can start to access your super, but only if you meet a valid condition of release. If you were born before 1 July 1964, you've already reached your preservation age. If you were born after 30 June 1964, your preservation age is 60. Between the ages of 60 and 65, you need to satisfy a condition of release to get your hands on the money. That is, you need to cease an existing employment arrangement. Once you cease an employment arrangement, you have full access to your super, regardless of whether you intend to return to work later. If you do return to work, you won't be able to make further lump sum withdrawals from your accumulation account unless you again meet another condition of release. However, if you've already commenced an account-based pension, your pension payments can continue as normal. If you're between the ages of 60 and 65, but you don't cease an employment arrangement, you can still access part of your superannuation through a transition to retirement pension, but it's restricted. More on this later. From age 65, you have full access to your super regardless of your working status. Again, we'll dive into this in more detail soon. There are some limited situations where you can access your superannuation early, but, and it's a big but, they come with strict rules and requirements. Here are the main ones. 1. Financial hardship. If you've been on government income support for at least 26 weeks and you can't meet reasonable and immediate family living expenses, you may apply for a limited release, usually capped at $10,000. 2. Compassionate grounds. This is for things like medical treatment for serious illness, making a mortgage repayment to prevent foreclosure, or funeral costs. You need approval from the ATO before your fund can release the money. 3. Terminal medical condition. If 2 registered medical practitioners certify that you have less than 24 months to live, you can access your super tax-free. 4. Permanent incapacity. If you're permanently unable to work in a job you are qualified to do by education, training and experience due to physical or mental health, you may be able to access your super early, often with tax concessions. And 5. Temporary residents leaving Australia. If you were a temporary visa holder who worked in Australia and have permanently left, you can apply for a departing Australia superannuation payment. Early release options should always be a last resort. There can be tax implications and you're eroding your retirement savings. There is also the potential to access your superannuation under the First Home Super Saver Scheme. If you're a first home buyer, there's a special pathway to tap into your super early. And it's not just allowed, it's actually encouraged. The First Home Super Saver Scheme lets you withdraw voluntary contributions plus their associated earnings to help fund your first home deposit. The key points to know are: 1, you can contribute up to $15,000 per financial year, $50,000 maximum across all years combined as a member voluntary contribution under the scheme. 2, you must apply to the ATO for release before signing a contract to buy or build. And 3, you must intend to live in the property for at least 6 months within the first 12 months of ownership. The First Home Super Saver Scheme is a great strategy to boost your savings by using the concessional tax treatment of super. But like most good things, it's packed with fine print. So it's worth getting advice to make sure you structure your contributions properly. If you want to learn more about this scheme, we will link a video in the description box below. Now let's consider the transition to retirement pension. If you've reached preservation age, but you aren't ready to fully retire, you can access a transition to retirement income stream. A TTR allows you to withdraw a limited income between 4% and 10% of your TTR balance per year while still working. This can be a smart strategy if used correctly. For example, to boost your take-home pay while cutting back on work hours, or some people need the additional cash flow to maximize concessional contributions and lower your tax bill. However, a TTR pension can be complex, since investment earnings on TTR pensions are still taxed at 15%, unlike account-based pensions after full retirement. So it's worth getting advice to ensure it actually suits your situation. But then from age 65, it's pretty much a free for all, sort of. You can access your superannuation without any conditions. Whether you're still working, semi retired, or fully retired, it doesn't matter. At that point, most people roll their super into an account based pension to start drawing a regular income. The best part? Account based pensions are tax free entities, meaning that there is no tax on earnings, withdrawals, and franking credits are fully rebated into your account. Superannuation is designed to fund your retirement, not your next holiday or renovation project. Accessing it should be a carefully considered move and ideally part of a bigger plan for your future. We typically look at accessing superannuation as part of phase 4 of wealth creation, where you've done the hard work to accrue the assets you need for financial independence, and now it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labour. If you think accessing superannuation is an appropriate strategy for you, we strongly recommend you speak with your financial advisor. They can help assess the appropriateness for your particular situation. Please note, the information contained in this video is general in nature only and does not take into consideration your objectives, financial situation, or needs. As legislation is constantly changing, the accuracy of this information is only current as at the time of recording. Before relying on the information, you should check to see if the content is still relevant.